It's hard losing a family member, especially one who always made you laugh. I would just like to say a few words about my grandfather, or Papa, as I would call him. My grandfather was a kind man who also happened to be my favorite baker, handyman, and favorite person in general. First, he was my favorite baker. I say this because my sister and I would visit every summer, and he would bake this pie, and it was a bake pie. He ended up just putting Cool Whip in a pie crust and put strawberries on top, and that was the pie. As a little kid, I loved the pie, and thinking back on it, I think it's just because it was filled with Cool Whip. But either way, it was my favorite thing, and he was the one that made it. He would also make other desserts that were wonderful. Second, he was my favorite handyman. This is kind of complicated, but he made the first car sensor. And this is hard to believe because now cars have sensors and would tell you if you're too close to an object or not. But he took 2 pieces of wood, so it would go like this, and then he would have a string attached to the hanging free edge, and then have a tennis ball attached. Well, he would put this in the front of the garage, and so when you would pull into the car, you would be able to see when the tennis ball got hit. Well, that meant that you were pulled in fully into the garage, and you were good to go. And I don't know how he thought of it, because this was years ago when he made this, so I don't know how he thought of it, but that's the kind of person he was. He just knew how to make stuff. And finally, he was my favorite person. How many people can actually say they had a relative not tell them what to do? I don't think many of you guys would be able to say yes, but I did, until one day. One day, when I was younger, we didn't have a bike at my grandparents' because they lived in Indiana and it was hard to travel with a bike from Pittsburgh to Indiana. So I borrowed a bike from the neighbors across the street. Well, the whole summer I would ride the bike up and down the street because that's as far as I can go. And my grandfather, the one day, it was one of the last days that my sister and I were there, and my grandfather had me clean the bike. I found this strange because he never told me to do something. But thinking back on it, I know why he told me to clean the bike before I returned it. This was because he was a good person. He wanted to teach myself to be a good neighbor and not to return things dirty and return them exactly how you found them, and if not, even better, because the neighbors were kind enough to share that bike with me, and I should return the favor by cleaning that bike. And this just shows how much of a good person my grandfather was. Showed me to be a good neighbor, a good friend, and a good overall person. Papa always loved trying new things, especially when it came to baking, handiwork, and in doing so, he became my favorite person. He was my rock, whether he realized it or not. My grandfather was not a good man. He was a great man, in which every person should strive to be. Thank you.